Hey guys, it's Reaction FPS here, and today I'm bringing you a settings video about affected versus independent ADS. Now, a lot of you may know about independent and affected ADS, the setting, if you are primarily a PC player, because this is where that setting exists. I'm not sure if they have it on console now, but many people seem to get confused over which one to choose. So, in order to find the setting, you have to navigate to the settings icon, and you have to go into graphics. When you go to graphics, go to view and you'll see ADS. There's affected and independent. So you may be wondering, what is the difference between affected and independent? When you set your FOV, minus 120, if you have your ADS field of view set at affected, that means that the ADS field of view will also scale to 120 FOV. So the FOVs between your ADS gun and your non-ADS weapon will be the same. With independent, the FOVs are completely different. So when you ADS with independent ADS field of view, what happens is your weapon zooms in a lot more and the sensitivity also changes and slows down quite drastically. Now, with affected, this is quite the opposite as I have just explained. Both the field of view on ADS and the field of view ADS is the same, as well as the sensitivity. So this also gives the illusion that there is much less visual recoil when your ADS field of view is unaffected as compared to independent. On independent, you see a lot more of it. And well, to be honest, if you wanted to know my personal preference, I would say affected. I choose affected because the visual recoil looks a lot better. There's a lot less of it, and also because you can see a lot more because the weapon sights are not jammed into your face like an independent. But honestly, when you look at it, if you have to say which one is better, I would say it's personal preference because I have seen people play on independent very well, both in Modern Warfare 2019 and this game. So it's really all personal preference, but in my opinion, for me, affected is the best. So I'm going to show you what these ADS field of view changes look like, aka affected versus independent. I'll show you them in game and I'll see you in the match. So guys, here we are in the game. My current ADS setting is at independent and this is how it looks. So you can see it's much more zoomed in. You can see the sight much clearer. That's the advantage of independent, is that you can see the sight picture much clearer. But when I shoot the weapon, you will see that there's a bit more visual recoil. Of course, the M4 is not the best weapon to demonstrate this with, especially a tuned build, but you still see the difference anyway. So yeah, that is the recoil, visual recoil on independent, and now I'll show you the recoil on affected. Go to graphics, affected. So there you can see it's a lot less zoomed in. You can see much more, but the sight is not as vivid, but it's still vivid nevertheless. But this is what the recoil looks like without controlling it. You can see there's a lot less visual recoil. It becomes less apparent because you're much more zoomed out. So yeah, that is affected versus independent. And if I had to say what my personal preference is, that would be affected. But honestly, this is subjective and it's all down to you as a player. But if I had to recommend it to a new player based on my experience, I would say affected.